And we're live. Andrew, Esquire, the man with the profession for a pseudonym. How's it going?
It's good. It's good to be here, Eric. Thank you so much for having me on today. I really am excited to talk to you.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Saw you with Joe. I saw you with him. He was talking about you coming up and bragging on your channel about how, in a relatively short time, you built up a pretty big audience. And for some reason, I seem to know a lot of lawyers. I don't know what it is, but I have more lawyers coming to my channel than I think most legal channels have lawyers coming to the channel. But it's good to have you. Join the bunch.
Yeah, it's good to be here because, the thing with me was when I started, I didn't know any other lawyers. So it's like I'm trying to find lawyer friends. So I was so glad that I met Joe and we had such a good conversation because those are the sort of legal topics and conversations and the type of conversations that you have been having on your channel. I mean, that debate, that was one of the first things I watched was that debate with Joe and with Robert Barnes. That was a fantastic debate. It reminded me of Moot Court. I used to be on Moot Court and do that sort of like mock Supreme Court argument. And it's a lot of just, you're not studying the case law so much as you're just kind of, here's an idea in principle, here's an idea in principle. And that was a classic procedure versus substance argument. And it was so cool to have you host that and to see that sort of forum, because I think that's something that everybody needs to see. And that's what I try to, bring to my channel as well as a robust discussion to let people, like I say on my channel, be their own judge. And that's why that's my slogan, because I want people that kind of see that debate and decide for themselves.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you checked it out and enjoyed it. Honestly, it's not my forte because I'm not a trained debate holder upper person. So, what in the world? Okay, so some people, it looks like some of your audience is here. Lawyers have friends. Hey ho, legal mindset's got to go. Who's Timmy Smith? Know him?
I have no idea who this guy is.
Oh well. Okay, I've tried to adjust your mic a little bit. It's a little bit soft. I don't know if you can get closer to your phone.
Yeah, we get closer here, maybe better.
Okay. Yeah, it's
there you go.
Andrew is in Vegas and probably having more fun than all of us. So his connection is going to be wonky throughout this whole time, but we're going to work through it. We're going to persevere. Why? Because Andrew, before the legal channel, is coming from the masculinity sphere. So I want to have you explain what that is to us all.
Sure. Well, a lot of people, think a lot of different things about it, right? But I had a chance, when I first came into YouTube, I was first introduced to YouTube was a lot of guys who were on the internet talking about fitness, talking about dating, talking about like sort of finance, the sort of, so kind of, money, muscles, and ladies, if you want to go that direction. And so
Joe Rogan, Jocko type stuff, or
yes. Jocko, there's a big, two good friends of mine in Miami who got started a little bit before I did, but I work with them very closely, is these guys on the Fresh and Fit podcast. They were just on Tim Pool. They're guys do a lot of dating advice. They bring girls on the channel and talk about, kind of intersexual dynamics, girls and guys, because, one thing that I've always thought is kind of funny, and it ties in with legal issues is that we're kind of having this huge war right now, in terms of gender war, in terms of the, whether it's, is there any biological differences between men and women? I never thought that would be controversial. I never thought that would be like an actual legal issue that we have to go, okay, yes, there's certain things, there's certain differences, that are inalienable, right? So they talk about it in a dating context. Some as I talk about it in a legal context, right? In terms of, some of the laws we have set up, the difference in equity in the laws, right? Not just in the laws on their face, but all that, practically is weighted against men right now, unfortunately. So okay. It's facet.
Somebody in the chat, I think they're talking to each other, but I do want to bring that up because are you also involved with the MGTOW, or is that going a little bit further down the line, or shall we say incels and MGTOW? Because
no,
there is that dark side.
None of that. I would call myself red pill. but I wouldn't call myself MGTOW or incel or any of that. I fully support dating. I think men and women are better together than apart. I'm none of those people. But, that being said, I understand the truth about, sexual dynamics. And, I think that goes along with a lot of things. When you sort of understand the truth about things, right? When people are trying to peddle misinformation, right? Just like, for example, medical misinformation. That's one of the huge things we've seen is medical misinformation. I know I followed your friend Allison Morrow, right? I know you've talked with her a lot. And that's what she's covered there is medical misinformation. Just like that, we've seen.
Well, she can stay on the air, yes.
That's her. Which is crazy because that's exactly why I got on YouTube was because people are giving out misinformation because they're, mainstream media is hiding the ball. And like many of my other lawyer friends, like Viva Fry, like Robert Barnes, like Robert Gruler, they have started locals pages. And I've decided, okay, I have to do that because a lot of these topics I can't talk about on YouTube. I can't talk about, basic
or
law.
Twitter.
I actually was taken down for talking about the FDA and what an emergency use authorization means. And I won't even talk about that here because, once again, I don't want the stream to go down. But once again, if you just talk about the basics of the law, it can get taken down because it comes off as medical and misinformation. So, it's just really, really a bizarro world. Yet I have friends.
Funny. I think you're well prepped for it, though. You're out of Miami, right?
Yes, I'm out of Miami, so I know a lot about intersexual dynamics, a lot about divorce. I know a lot about a lot of shady activities going on. Drug laws. Well familiar with those. So
exactly. So I was just thinking though that might be good practice for you because when you're dealing with drug dealers in Miami, you have to use coded language. So when you're talking about facts on YouTube, you have to use coded language.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I call vaccine. And shout out to my friend Hotep Jesus, Brian Sharp, great guy. He gave me the word Fauci juice. So, it's been Fauci. You can't say the word. If you say the word, just like in the beginning, if you said the CV word, the algorithm would pick it up and it would flag you. So, I still don't say it, I say, the big R or, the beer bug or something else like that, because you still got to be wary of the algorithm. And that's also how I initially shot up, is not just working the algorithm a little bit, but also, using TikTok, which is something that was initially a good start for me. And also doing a lot of evergreen content and also catching a lot of trends when they were hot. I caught the Derek Chauvin case, when that was, booming a little bit. And also the police topics, because a lot of people are misinformed about the police topics. And I like to have a nuanced approach. I'm not like all in Blue Lives Matter, but at the same time, I'm not, Marxist BLM where, it's, let's just go ahead and defund the police because they're totally useless. So I kind of take a very measured approach and say, okay, here's the law, here's the precedent, here's how the ruling should be. If you want to talk about qualified immunity, I think there's arguments for and against qualified immunity. I think, we can have a debate, like I'm sure with a lot of lawyers on, we could get Joe and Robert and they could debate qualified immunity. And I think they could each make a great point about whether or not we should have qualified immunity. I'm not going to assign sides, but I mean, I think these are the things we should be debating, and we should have reasonable debates, not straw man debates.
Right. Actually, that does bring me up with one I want to push you on a little bit. And you were talking with Hotep Jesus, and it was about your concern about elected judges. And it's funny because my father-in-law is a lawyer, and he was talking about Pennsylvania going in and having elected judges and the Cosby affair being mixed up with all of that because, oh, wait, I can't say Cosby, right? So America's dad situation in Pennsylvania was caused by that judge being elected potentially and knowing where his bread is buttered. I pushed back on him, though, going, well, wait a minute. I see judge appointments to being like tenure where you get some asshole and you can't get rid of them for life. So I just want to ask you, because I can argue, I feel both sides of this, but I feel there is something to be said about an elected person of any kind having to report at least every once in a while to the people who can hold their feet to the fire, to have that little bit of sort of Damocles over their heads. So help me out with this.
Yeah, it's a balancing act, right? And also, my whole thing is, can we find a third way? Can we find a better system, right? Just like with gerrymandering, right? I'm sure you're aware of gerrymandering, right? And for a long time, gerrymandering is when they divide up the maps politically to favor one
Sure.
party or the other. So there's exposure with appointments to a certain extent and election to a certain extent, and I absolutely agree that to a certain extent elections do mean accountability, right? But
Mhm.
do they also take away from the ability of the judge to follow the law and not what they think everybody wants to hear? That's my concern. Now,
Mhm.
that being said, you got to remember too that state judges and federal judges are a little bit different. Federal judges have those Article 3 judges that are exactly like you said, which are pretty much like tenured and non-removable. At the state level, and now it does vary state to state, but there are methods to remove judges that are appointed, right? But that being said, are there mechanisms or systems that we could set up that are more impartial? Some sort of like neutral, body that selects judges that looks very maybe objective criteria, maybe has some sort of factors or other sort of tests like the way they do with gerrymandering, right? If they've been able to figure this out with gerrymandering, we could certainly do it with judges. Looking at certain objective criteria. I mean, even if it's just the amount of time, right? Because, for example, and I'll throw it out here in Florida, and I'll go after conservatives because I know, I'm painted as a conservative on YouTube, even though I always was a moderate in life, but now I'm a conservative. But with gerrymandering, they set up neutral parties, neutral positions, and they have neutral people who select who make the map, right? Or you make it an algorithm that selects the map. So, it's possible, what I'm saying, to create a system. We
Gerrymandering is
just haven't
weird
done it
too.
yet.
Even gerrymandering is weird because on the surface, it just is horrible. It looks terrible. However, there could be an argument made that it is clumping people together who do represent a particular side or another, and their voice is more powerful within their crazy shaped area. So I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
weird one. I mean, on its surface, it's like, well, maybe it should be, the melting pot and just arbitrary, boom, 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 cut it up into nice squares, and then there you go. However it falls, it falls. But then I think about, lovely garden spots of the world, like the Middle East, that were set up by map makers with arbitrary lines without consideration of putting like people with each other, and bothering to pay attention to any kind of cultural traditions and history within an area. And in that case, is it evil?
Yeah, we've got some issues with that right now, right? We're seeing that in Syria, we're seeing that in Israel, right? So, I mean, once again, you don't have a flawless system, and there's certainly pros and cons. I mean, I guess now we're seeing the cons, right? We're seeing a lot of the cons, and we're
Mhm.
seeing cons kind of stress tested. But I see your point, because with gerrymandering, there's always the argument, right? Like you said, that if you have a 100% Republican district and a 100% Democratic district, well, those really represent those people very well. The problem is if those people
Yeah.
have 3 representatives instead of the 5 they should have, so they don't have a majority or a tie, they have, a minority, right? And where the supermajority can just overrule them. Well, then they pretty much don't have a voice, right? So, and, there's some argument that in America right now, just culturally, we've become so polarized, right? Which is
Oh
why
yeah.
we've forgotten, which is why we're speaking in coded language on things I never thought in 1,000 years, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was becoming a lawyer, I never thought that I would have to speak like this about basic issues, and worry about my videos get taken down. And like I said, I've already gotten a community guideline strike for, once again, just explaining the law.
Nice.
I'm
Since
strike one.
November. Hey, well, I can one up you, at least for a while. My whole channel was vaporized, so I technically had a strike and a removal and deletion in the same 1 minute period.
Can you say what it was, like generally what the topic was, like just so I know? I mean, it helps me.
I was doing a live stream with the CEO of a company called ZenGo, which is a crypto wallet.
Yes.
While I was in the middle of the live stream, my entire channel, live stream video channel, gone, completely vaporized. So, how's that crypto going for you? Anyway, that's
Yeah,
warning you a little bit.
that's why a lot of people are talking about crypto, and that's why I have a lot of friends who talk about crypto. I really believe in it. I mean, like I said, I read this really good book, the Sovereign Individual. I don't know if you've ever read that book. It's a
I
lot
haven't
about,
yet.
it's a good read. It's about like personal freedom, also where we're going in the information age. More towards individuality versus the nation state. We're kind of seeing we're seeing countries like the United States break apart into ideological camps and even into regional camps, right? Because
Well,
you
it's
sort
always
of
been
have
that
the
way,
West.
though. It's always been that way, though. People don't realize it, but the United States has always been about 5 different countries. If you break it down, the Northeast is nowhere near like the Southeast, and going down to Miami is a whole nother area in Florida. I mean, Florida itself, you have Southern Alabama on the top,
Yes.
and then you have the cosmopolitan bit on the bottom. Key West is
And
their
then,
own universe.
yeah.
So these places already are very, very different. Kansas is not like New York,
Right.
which is different. And we
But
should have consideration to celebrate it.
we've been celebrating those differences in the past. We've kind of enjoyed those differences. It seems like those differences are getting to the point where they're kind of untenable, right? And once again, that's me reading the tea leaves and policy, and also just seeing where the law is going. Because to me, when I look at the law, I look at the law as a reflection of culture and policy and politics, culture, right? So by the time something becomes law, it's really the manifestation of culture of where we're going. And when you look at the
Yeah,
laws,
Breitbart.
they're becoming more.
Andrew Breitbart. Politics is downstream of culture. Absolutely
Yeah,
true.
beautiful quote. And the thing is, it's becoming more and more and more offensive against the other side, right? I mean, especially frankly too, I will say usually the right is doing a little bit more defense, the left is doing a little bit more offense, but regardless, the laws are coming down pretty hard on both sides, right? And that's just where we have some states that have pretty much made it all sorts of requirements. For example, the LGBTQ community, right? You have some states that, for example, are very, very hard into protections for LGBTQ, that are also, talking about CRT, have like gone really hard on that. In some states that still have bathroom bans and, have banned CRT. Once again, you're seeing like a very hard line. There's no, I'm struggling to find middle grounds when I'm looking for laws that are, there's no bellwether state. There's no Missouri, that's like a middle ground. It's either you're one side or you're the other. And I'm not seeing much in between.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a giant issue, and I had a profound thought that just slipped out of my brain, so I'll let that one go by. So what do we have here? I'm going to put you on the spot a little with crypto,
Sure.
because I understand people love the concept and idea of crypto being independent, untrackable, all of that. However, and this is the irony, by the way, I was grilling the CEO, same thing, about crypto, because I have yet to get a single person to make me understand why this is relevant. I understand blockchain. I know how that works, and I can absolutely see a use for it. I had the CEO of AeroChain on, and he was talking about his company, which tracks all the maintenance records on an airplane, because FAA rules and everything is whenever you get a plane, you're not just buying the plane, you're literally buying filing cabinets full of every single repair and every single maintenance task that's ever been done. But when you're dealing with everybody in the world and you're trying to sell an aircraft, you have different cultures. They may not be friendly here. They may not be friendly there. I mean, you could be selling the plane to another state that doesn't trust the United States or another country. So crypto works very well, not crypto, but the blockchain works well, that everything's on the blockchain. This is 100% authenticated to the plane and tied there. However, we'll talk about Bitcoin and crypto and all of that. I have trouble seeing this because there is no tangible object. I just talked about the blockchain, and these are tangible things that are being tracked. However, with that, it's a ledger. That's the farthest anybody's gotten, is like it is a bank ledger of I said that I gave you $10 or 10 something, 10 bits. And there's a record that I gave you 10 bits. So there's always a record that there's 10 bits that went to this particular wallet or thing. But there is no thing. I shut off your power. I take your computer. Where's your thing? I think there was a delay or you got frozen.
Well, it depending on how you store it, it's still there, right? Because I mean, for example, if you're storing it, there's different ways to store crypto, right? So yes, if you, oh no, am I right now?
Yeah, you froze again.
What? Am I good, Ark?
Go ahead now.
Okay, sorry about that. But should be all right. Am I good?
You sort of are, and then you stop, and then you're good, and then you stop.
Sorry. Good. Am I good right now?
Right now. Talk fast. No.
Okay. So what I was going is that depending on how it's stored, right? Depending on how your crypto is stored, right? So if it's stored physically, yes, you're right. If you take it, okay. So
Boy, this
crypto,
is a treat.
if your crypto is stored, right? If it's stored physically, yes, you can take it, right? But otherwise, it's in the ether, and you're able to actually keep it.
But there's no it.
Sorry, hold on. Let me try.
Yeah,
but the thing is, okay. Here's the thing, Eric. If you send your dollars, there's no it. Dollars are not it either. When you send them electronically, right? When you send a dollar electronically, no dollar being exchanged. It's all ones and zeros. The same as crypto, right? So your dollar is not actually, and you know, if you understand the Federal Reserve and how they've, you know, implemented a fractional reserve system, right? There's
when they screwed over the gold standard. We used to have a gold standard that you represented part of the gold, and I got that. And I know that money is a construct, and Dr. Woods in the chat saying, yeah, damn it, yeah, got all that. But I can still produce a piece of paper that's saying $1. Do you have a Bitcoin thing? Do you see, like, if I really want to feel safe, I can buy a chunk of gold and I can put it somewhere, and that's still going to be gold. It's still going to be a thing.
You can buy Bitcoin, you can store it, you can literally put it on something the size of a thumb drive, right? You can store it the same way. The difference is that it's easier to send. I can send you right now, Eric, I can send you Bitcoin. I can't send you a gold coin immediately, right? I have to put it in the mail, I have to ship it, time to get there, there's postage, you know, maybe there's tax, maybe it might be confiscated, but I can send you immediately crypto like that. You've got it. And I can send it cross-border with very, 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 very little fee, right? So I can send it cross-border with almost no fee, like very, very low to no fee if I send it cross-border, if it's a cross-border transaction, or if I'm sending it across state lines. It's going like that. The SWIFT system, extraordinarily slow, right? But like you said, you can still store it. So if I take it just like that, I store it on a physical device, I can put it in a vault, and it's there forever. It's there as long as I need it. That crypto is always
unless I shut it down, unless you can't access it. Like you have a crypto exchange where the owner died, was the only person who knew the password. All right, how's everybody doing in here? Oh, technology is fun. Let's see, I'm wondering here, what do you guys think while we're
there you go, Eric. Sorry, I was connecting to the Wi-Fi. A little bit stronger now.
Okay. I don't know what's worse, his Wi-Fi or his phone. Oh boy.
Eric, fucking A. Yeah, this is horrible. Oh, there you go. Woo!
Sort of. Let's see. You're very finely posed. All right. Dr. Wood, yes, I agree. Permanent ledger of crypto is scary. I don't know. I just I'm pushing because I still don't I want to believe, but it's like a religion. And I do think a lot of crypto people don't know what the hell they're talking about in general.
Reset the connection.
Okay. And
Oh man, just reset the
okay.
connection.
Hey, now it's sort of you froze again. This is a
Damn.
treat. All right.
Reset the connection. Reset the connection.
All right. Anyway. Okay. So everybody in the chat, let's have some fun here. What do you think? Those who are pro, give me a thumbs up or a Y. Those who are leery, I don't know, a dash. And then those who don't like it, thumbs down. I am very curious because I feel that crypto is being pushed like crazy. And hopefully he's back.
There we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Reset the connection.
Okay, so this is
Hopefully it's a little smoother.
sort of. This is where my issue is, and I think that I don't know if you'll concur or not, but I feel that a lot of people who are just bullish on crypto don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they just keep saying go buy, go buy, go buy, but they really don't actually understand the intricacies of what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Not overwhelmed with the
A lot of times
now.
into. I mean, a lot of people won't understand. I said a lot of people don't understand what they're getting into when they're investing in things like stocks or bonds or equities or gold, right? A lot of people don't understand that. They principally don't understand it.
And you have an SEC, and you do have some sort of recourse, though. I've got crypto.
Sorry about that, guys. But a lot of people don't understand things when they get into them, right? Whether it's gold, stocks, bonds, equities, they're not understanding them like at a principle, right? At their core technology.
Totally agree. However, they can be educated with it. It is not pure speculation, and there are recourses, right? There is an SEC. There are certain guidelines. Now, I'm not in love with government everywhere, but I am just saying that you do have.
You're your own bank. You are the bank, so you're responsible, right? So, in that case, so for example, you are in charge of that, and here's the difference.
Your internet connection's blockchain, that's for sure. All right. Dude, I think we're gonna have to reschedule and finish this thing because it's killing us. Folks, sometimes it's hard to deal with this kind of thing. Bandwidth is a little bit crazy. I'm definitely going to be bringing him back and hopefully talking about it more, especially now, because I feel like this is a cool topic and I like to get heated in it because I really do want to dig into it. I'm not just trying to criticize everybody or whatever. It's like, if I can push on it, maybe I'll learn. Maybe I'll finally be convinced to say, oh yeah, okay, I get crypto. But right now, and I saw that there was a lot of dashes in here, I do not trust it, okay? Not saying that it's definitively bad. However, I do have issues with it. So I'm going to definitely bring him back. We'll work it out. And hopefully next time our connection is going to be a bit better. So for now, folks, thank you very much.